author, the creator, the word, the almighty, the incomprehensible. He is the causeless cause and which all things are grown. I extend honor to his and our holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, that love thought that was manifest in the flesh on January 8th, 1886, out of the state of North Carolina, one who Allah raised from among us to bring us out of the mucky mire of darkness into the marvelous light of truth, teaching us those things that's necessary that we can change our condition by breaking the mental chains of slavery and starting to think. As it said, the prophet said, if I get you to think, you can save yourself and start being a nation within a nation. I give honor to the forerunner of the prophet, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, one who did teach us about entrepreneurship and to do for self and say, up, up, you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. I extend honor to the first appointed Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America and the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheik of Supreme Grand Council, Brother Edward Mediel. I extend honors to our present Supreme Grand Sheik and National Grand Chairman and Grand Sheik of Grand Temple 13, Brother R. Edward L. I extend honors to our National Grand Sheik and Supreme Grand Business Manager, Brother G. Turner L. I extend honors to the Assistant National Grand Sheik and Supreme Grand Press Secretary, Brother N. Chambers L. I extend honors to our charter that give us the legal right to teach our people their nationality, divine creed, lawfully and unmolested here in Baltimore, Maryland, and abroad. I extend honors to two flags combined, the American flag and Moorish flag. The American flag, the flag of my birth, the Moorish flag, the flag of my ancient descent. I extend honors to all the literature that the prophet wrote and brought for the uplifting of fallen humanity. I extend honors to all grand governors and their assistants, all grand sheiks and their assistants, all members of Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America, all adabs, all sheiks and sheikesses, and all ordained ministers. I extend honors to our divine constituting bylaws and additional laws. I extend honors to man, because when man honors man, he honors his Father God Allah. I extend honors to each and every one of you who took the time to follow the prophet's law and to be on time for that meeting and participate. And I stand honors what honors are truly due. Islam, salvation, Allah unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings will be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted till 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is the new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and impartial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look at the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. Noble Jew Ali, founder, the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Jew Ali. Amen. Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 47, verse 12. Home office, Grand Temple 13, Baltimore, Maryland, 21218. I will proceed with a reading from the Great Meetings on Quran Questionnaire, particularly page 7 and 8. Questioning additional laws for the Moorish American by the Prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Before acted upon by any members, let it be financed property or any line of life that would cause the members to sacrifice, finance, etc., that would cause support of any group of members. Any former officer to violate these laws is subject to remove from its office under heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are attend their ADAP meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on that meeting period, excuse me. Act 2. All members must attend their ADAP meetings, their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on a meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It's the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. If he does not, he's the enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I have the power invested in my hands, I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted till 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. According to our tradition and customs, I declare my intentions according to page 3 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, so that it may be understood if any mistakes are made during my delivery or reading, it should be placed upon I, the speaker or reader, and not upon our beloved prophet, noble Jew Ali, and surely not to Allah, for Allah is perfect in all of his ways. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Jew Ali, by the guidance of his father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from a sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father God Allah. The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, page 3. Know thyself and their father God Allah. Paragraphs 2, 3, and 4. And it states, dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love Jesus. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear fathers, by these lessons, you can set your house in order, and your children will learn to love instead of to hate. I will continue with a reading from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'll be turning to chapter 40, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, the instability of man. Inconstancy is powerful in the heart of man. Intemperance swayeth its will. Despair engross much of it. Fear proclaims, behold, I sit unraveled therein, but vanity is beyond them all. Islam, I now declare our Sunday school open for this evening, and I'd like to call on our instructor, Brother D. Eddington L. Brother Eddington L., class is yours.
Islam, more.
Islam.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah, and I hope you feel better, my brother.
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's some, some stuff going on with that body more, And as a matter of fact, in this chapter that we're getting ready to get into, it's going to tell me a whole lot about the body.
Yes, sir.
But after raising my thoughts in prayer, I want to continue by giving praise to Allah, honor to our holy and divine prophet, honor to the forerunner of the prophet, honor to Brother Emil El, the first Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Supreme Grand Council, appointed by the Prophet Noble Ali. Honor to our Supreme Grand Sheikh, Brother R. Edwards, his official cabinet, our National Grand Sheikh, Brother GT13, his assistant, Brother N. Chambers, their cabinet, all our grand governors, their assistants, our grand sheiks and their assistants, all our sheiks, adapts, members, flags, charter, everything that our chairman extended honor to, and to Sunday school, because our prophet informs us that out of your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. And with that, I would like to also declare my intentions, according to page 3, wherein it states, dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace, and happiness for all those who love Jesus. As is accustomed to, I want to wish a couple of brothers and sisters here I haven't seen. And I was trying to get the sister on. She was trying to get on. I had sent her the link, but I can't, well, I don't really know how to work these, these tablets and stuff the way I'm supposed to, Brother Edwards, if he's still available, he can send the link to, there she go. She on there. Islam, sister. You made it. Yeah, I'm just concerned about you, because you helped motivate to get me on here. So anyway,
Islam.
Islam, sister, you helped motivate to get me on here. So going into our question, because our prophet informs us that out of your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. And without doubt, the first question on the questionnaire, and there's a reason why. So class, who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
No.
Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
In the heart.
Who is Noble Ali?
He is a prophet of Allah.
Ooh. Who is Noble Drew Ali?
Is Allah's prophet.
There you go. It's a big difference between them words, you know.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. My
And,
fault.
and you know, like you say, you always say, Brother Chairman, the prophet is teaching us how to think. And if we can think, we can save ourselves. So there's nothing accidental. Everything is scientifically put there for us to take note of and to act and build upon. What is a prophet?
The prophet is a
The
thought of
prophet is the fruit of Allah
manifested in the
manifested in the
flesh.
flesh.
What is the duty of a prophet?
To save nations from the wrath of Allah.
That's right. Because if we obey this holy prophet, we do what he instructs us to do. We are designed to miss the wrath of Allah. And we see the wrath all the time. Sometimes we may not understand it, but we see it all the time around us, taking place. And sometimes, as one of my infinite experiences, I was walking, and all of a sudden, this lightning and the thunder and stuff got to hitting all around me. Trees got to coming up by the roots and stuff. And I said, great day in the morning. But Allah's in control of that. You know, the trees falling down on top of cars, smashing them just like you see on TV. That happens in real life. Them trees are heavy, but yet they comes up out of that earth just like, just like somebody else picking up a piece of wood or a twig or something. The way the strength of Allah is. Because as it is reported, Allah is almighty.
Islam.
Eternal and incomprehensible. Who was the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Drew Ali.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913
1913 AD.
AD, yes.
1913 AD. Where?
In North New Jersey.
North New Jersey.
North New Jersey. What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish Americans?
Because we're descendants of Moroccans born in America.
For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? For what purpose was the Moorish Science
for humanity?
Exactly. I know we all supposed to know why we are members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That we have agreed to take on the responsibility of helping our prophet and uplifting fallen humanity. All right, class, you answered well. Continue to study your questionnaire. It is a part of our foundation. It will guide you, strengthen you, and help you and me in defending that which we say we believe. Now, the chapter for this coming week is Holy Instruction from the Prophet, the Instability of Man. Now, we have just came through some of the structure of man and dealing with his mind. So now, what is instability of man? What is inconstancy of man? What is weakness of man? What is insufficiency of knowledge? And what is misery? Sheikah, Jasmine Gray Hill, glad to see you. I know your hands have been full, probably fuller than mine, but all is well. What do we refer to as these chapters here? Now, we just came through there about a few creations ago. These 5 chapters are known to us as what?
Was the blueprint.
No, the blueprint. No. Now, the creation and fall of man may be known to us as the blueprint, but instability of man, inconstancy, weakness, the insufficiency of knowledge, misery. Brother Robert Bay,
Islamism, Islam
Islam
risen,
or
giving praises to Allah and everything the chairman gave honors to. What you just mentioned to, we refer to as the 5 folds of man.
good. I knew you had to sit at that table years ago when I was the invisible man.
Yeah.
But I knew you was there.
Our Sheikh was a great teacher.
Oh yeah. I see a hand up. I mean, I just see the hand up. Whoever it is, come on in. I can't see who it is.
It was Robert Bay. He took it off. He already spoke.
Yeah, it wouldn't tell me who it was. Yeah, so Sheik is, yes, we refer to these 5 chapters that we're getting ready to enter into as the 5 universal folds of mankind. Because each and every one of us can identify we have to overcome these 5 folds in our nature. Everybody. And then look how unique, look how Allah divine is. Look how this is divine. This is a part of our growth and development. We have to overcome these folds in order to line up straight. Ain't no shortcuts to it. Ain't no shortcuts to it. You can't get through it unless we overcome instability, inconstancy, weakness, insufficiency of knowledge, and misery. Because when we get past the plane of soul, it ain't no more of this. All this is designed to help us graduate, elevate, and become one with Allah. So let's look at verse 1 in the chapter. Any questions before we move on into verse 1? Well, then again, let us define instability. Islam.
Instability is the state being unfixed, frail, weak, unsettled,
Okay.
Not constant in your thoughts or your behavior or anything like that.
Okay. Frail, weak, unfixed, infirm. And it is a condition. And we learned way back in chapter 11 that as the ethers change, the conditions change. Okay. So now, let's look at number 1. And look how important, look how powerful verse 1 is. Verse 1, inconstancy is powerful in the heart of man. Intemperance where it will. Despair engross much of it, and fear proclaim, behold, I sit unraveled therein. But vanity is beyond them all. They are our foes. But they have an opposite. It says inconstancy is powerful in the heart of man. What is the opposite of inconstancy, class?
To be constant.
To be constant. To be firm.
To be fixed.
To
And
be
Jesus said, he's
fixed.
fixed in the heart.
Look,
And the prophet
he
said,
said, my heart is fixed.
Yes.
Or I fix my soul. you know, because it's the opposite. And that just means that we have to be aware of what we're doing, be careful in decisions that we make, and be determined in the execution of the decisions that we make if we know it to be right. And that takes strength. The opposite of inconstancy. 1 minute you will, 1 minute you will not, next minute you don't know if you will or you didn't will. All right, intemperance. All right, class.
Intemperance is lack of self-control, or it could be, like indulgence in something, and we not like we overindulge, I can't even say it right, but I know it's
Well,
lack of self-control.
exceeding the limits and everything.
Yeah.
Overindulging.
Yeah, there you go.
You
There
know.
you go.
What was that, brother Bay?
I was saying, there you go. I was thinking of the word. I couldn't get it out. Overindulgence. Yeah, I would say over.
Okay. Yeah, being excessful, exceeding the limits or something.
Yes.
Oh man, good. Uh, yeah, excuse me for the interruption. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, excuse me for that interruption. That's my national grand speak. I had texted him earlier today, so he's getting ready to on his way here,
Yes.
Wow, no wonder y'all cheered me up so good, man. I just seen another note there. I didn't see it. Okay. All right. What about fear? Wait a minute. Excuse me, class. Sheikahs. How many sheikahs we got on here? Just one? Oh,
Two.
come on, man. Where our sisters at?
We got two sisters on, two Sheikahs on.
Oh, yeah?
We got sister Gray L, Sheikah Gray L, and the sister you was trying to get on earlier, and she's on now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't know. She can correct me later on if I'm in her. I ain't know she was a sheikah. I thought she ran away from that.
But correct me if
All
I'm
right,
wrong.
so where was I at? I was getting ready to say something. All right, despair. For some reason, I believe the sisters know more about despair than the brothers do, excluding myself. I don't think nobody know more about despair than me.
I don't know, man. Everybody got their own form of despair when it comes to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you can have despair, because that's hopelessness. You don't have no hopelessness. You know what I mean? You got to have faith in Allah, which I know you do.
All right, class. Sheikah's Gray L, Sister Kula Nicole. I apologize. Sister, I got a problem with these names. Despair. Tell me about despair.
Islam.
Islam.
As our brother said, our brother chairman said, it's hopelessness. However, I do feel like it is possible that you can be challenged into losing that hope, depending on what you are facing on this plane. Islam.
Islam.
Um,
Yeah, Islam.
we know that the wise man changes his mind often, so I think it's very I think it's an accurate thought to know that you can lose hope, depending on how heavy the burden is. Islam.
Islam. Sister, Picola Al.
Islam, brother.
Islam. And don't smack the side of my head. I know I keep pronouncing your name wrong.
So, you're going to chime in on spare praises to Allah and honor to our Prophet and honor to all of you on the call. Um, my my understanding, without going through the dictionary for accuracy, is a state of more or less disappointment, like extreme disappointment of a situation, and so it's like now you find yourself in despair. So I look at it as not a permanent state of any sort, but just a momentary situation based upon some circumstances that's happening to you. So despair is not a place for you to remain cozy. It's just a transient place until you get to where you need to be. Islam.
Islam. Islam. Can anyone name one or two examples of our holy prophet feeling or demonstrating despair?
In
Islam.
Islam, what comes to mind immediately is the series of letters to be read at every meeting. From the beginning, because our prophet was one of advanced gnosis of seeing, and so therefore we were given certain warnings, if you will, as a precautionary thing. And I feel that the letter to be read at every meeting, the one in particular, I'm glad I have a few faithful boys amongst you all. And I want you to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me. I think that one hits me the most as being in despair, but not completely being without hope, but just feeling the weight of a negative circumstance. Islam.
Islam. That's a very good. That's a very good one. A lot of times when he looked upon the Moors and seeing that the Moors just would not do right, it's a few oral statements where it says that the prophet, throw up his hands and said, I should just leave y'all. I should just go ahead, It's my brother, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, like to count back what the sister said and what you just said, because at the end of every meeting, we read the Divine Proclamation that was given out in January 1929. And with that, he's making a statement so we don't, we sometimes get lost. So he makes a statement, letting us know certain things as a reminder for us. And he says that we must and will obey the law laid down to us, but he also talks about certain things about flashing our cards at Europeans and those of us, if we have ill malicious feelings towards the prophet or the temple, we should turn in their cards and button and cease wearing our turban and fez and return to the state where he, the prophet, found us. So to me, that's like he had in mind, to me, by reading that, a little bit of despair, but he's also telling us that we got to be careful what not to do. I yield.
Islam, very good. So And my point is this: even our holy and divine prophet had a lower self and a higher self, and also had to face the fivefold of man. Temptation. So I'm just pointing out certain things that we can relate to.
All the
He did
prophets.
not. He did not run away from his mission. He did not feel like I felt the last couple of days. With uh, loss of confidence, loss of hope. When despair. I mean, it's like one of them little rooms in your mind, and you let a little thought comes in. Oh, this ain't gonna work, and then it whispers to his buddy, nah, that ain't gonna work. And then they whisper to their friends. And the next thing you know, I am surrounded by all these teeming thoughts jumping, banging up on me. And that's how it works. You let one little crack in, next thing you know, his buddy will come in, and then you'll find yourself in the wilderness like Jesus was in the wilderness. And then you got to begin to exercise, to use that firmness of mind and say unto yourself, away from me all teeming thoughts. You got to have that firmness of mind transferred into that powerful heart and be able to put aside all the illusions that you see approaching you or affecting you or fighting you. Because this is what our mission is. Our mission is not only to overcome and become one with Allah, but also to show to the world that this work, to show to each other that this work. All right. Man, what about this one here? Fear. Or whether just on fear.
People,
No, I want despair. What about fear?
fear is like sometimes it's like we get in the we may be terrified, not of the conditions of certain things. Like, man, am I gonna be able to do this? Oh man, wow, there's pressure on me about this and this. Oh man, I gotta make that car payment. I ain't got enough money, or they're gonna come repossess it, or we fear certain things. We be terrified. We put ourselves in being doubtful. With fear.
Very good, brother Ted, man. Can you picture how powerful fear is when we give it strength, when we give it life, when we breathe upon it? Fear can have us so wrapped up that we can actually pass this form because of fear. We can lock ourselves in the way we don't want to come out. We don't want to eat. We don't want to do anything to sustain life. It says, in fear proclaim, behold, I sit unraveled therein. So it has
Is
no
unstable.
one, huh?
I said when he said, "Behold, I sit unraveled therein," He definitely is instability right there.
Yeah, yeah. But even fear has faked itself out
Yeah.
because here he is sitting unraveled day in. But it is one beyond him. Islam, I see a hand up.
Sister she gets Ray out.
Islam.
Is I teach Saeed that fear is low vibrational. And therefore when we think of it in that manner, it can as they say, kill, destroy, or as you reference, block, and stop growth. It's low. You think of the lower self. It can restrict you in that manner. Islam.
Islam.
Islam. And I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, because in dealing with these five folds of man, they are on a low vibration when we compare it to the high vibration. But they are so detrimental that without a conscious mind, we see the reaction, we see the disease, we see the grave that they built. We see the destruction that they cause. Because we have the eyes of soul. We are able to identify with them and we're able to see them around us, in us, and in other people. But they're all on a low vibration. Now it says, but vanity is beyond them all. All right, brothers. I know y'all can love this now. I don't know. I don't know whether the say brothers or sisters because again, vanity affects us all in many ways. Yes, brother Chairman.
Vanity in this aspect to me is like sometimes we get pumped up by our pride. And when we get so pumped up in the ego and pride, that could be dangerous for us because we are missing sight of everything else. You know what I mean? We putting ourselves up too high. Showing too much pride that we ain't putting ourselves on a model. Like we want to raise our ethers, but we want to have everything intact. You know what I mean? Like when it was talked about the what's that thing we was talking about earlier? Intemperance. You know what I mean? You want to have self-control over that. You know what I mean? And as Sister Gray L put it, Gray L put it. You know what I mean? To have our lower self intact. And sometimes when we raise our ego so high and our pride so high, we raising our call that overindulging, the word you used earlier. We raising our lower self up, and with that I yield. And I see my brother Robert got his hand raised.
Islam. Come on in.
Islam.
Islam.
You say vanity, right?
Yes, sir. Vanity.
Vanity is beyond them all. I have vanity as being defined as overly concerned about how we appear in the eyesight of others. Huh?
That's a good definition. But what about just having a big head? Just being look, and more.
It's your ego and your pride.
And
pride.
And I hear everything you just said.
But vanity can be applied to, just having a big head and you don't think nobody see you,
See, but the thing about having a big head, it ain't a thing about thinking nobody see you because what you've been doing or whatever you do is for someone to see you, to hear what you're doing with that big head, your ego. I want to know who I am.
No, and the reason why I jumped on that like that because I recall not that long ago I was looking for something for someone, and I was reading where the prophet had said, "Ain't no big heads here," you know. You know, he was telling them all, "Look, we ain't had no big heads over in this chamber here. Ain't gonna be no big heads here," you know. But it made me think about it because, again, when we look at, okay, got another hand up.
No.
No. Can I piggyback, Mo?
Yes, go ahead. You can camel back. You can
And
camel,
the
Mo.
reason with that definition I say in the manner mode, because so many of our people do things in life not for themselves, but for the response of others. You know, here it is. I know I can't afford a pair of Air Jordans, and my rent ain't paid, but I'm gonna go get them just to hear somebody say, "Ooh, boy, I like them." Oh, you got the jewels, this and that, but yet I neglect my responsibilities. You know, and a lot of people do things in the manner to where as though they put their priorities on the back burner, as opposed to just to hear in response from other individuals, as opposed to living life into themselves as if they living it for the response of others.
Mm. Yeah.
And that go all the way across
Genesis,
the board. Islam.
Islam.
yes, that's Islam. That's still dealing with the ego because you want to be seen.
Okay, but like I say, I gave a definition of vanity, being overly concerned about how we appear in the eyesight of others.
Yeah. Islam, sister. You trying to come in?
Islam.
You,
It's
Islam.
just real.
Islam.
Just Korea.
Go ahead.
Islam. I just wanted to camel back and share that the definition of the brother gay is not the earliest meaning of vanity. It dealt with false pride, and then over time, it switched into being obsessed with one's appearance. So, although we know it today as vanity being concerned with how we look, uh, the original meaning of it is emptiness or worthlessness, a false pride of oneself. Islam.
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 Islam. Islam. Nicola Kusar I just wanted to chime in on something that I see every day, and it crosses my mind every single day, almost like probably every hour on the hour. Is I work in a place where, um, well, I work at a time in a place whereas it's more permissible these days than it was way back like 20 years ago or 30 years ago. And what it is that I've never seen so many tattoos in my life. And whereas in the medical field, the workplace, you had to, we were always told that you needed to cover them up, or even if you were to go on a job interview, there was a period of time where that outward show or display was unacceptable for, you know, I want to say the workplace, but just in general, those were body art or whatever that you did for, I guess, yourself to make yourself feel better for whatever reasons. And so that where I work at, is I'm blown away. I see the tattoos on the neck all the way down, or in inconspicuous places like in the back of somebody's elbow, or their whole leg is tattooed, or the whole arm is tattooed up to the shoulder. So I look at it and I don't, I'm within my own thoughts, so I don't ask questions and stuff like that and judge it. But I wonder, like, what it is about the being that needs that outward display. It's, and I want to say, okay, that's just, them being vain about the body, but they don't know that thing, is going to crumble and fall. But they put so much emphasis in the body with this body arts that it just blows me away. It just, I mean, it's 70-year-olds and it's so many different people that have adorned their body, and I wonder like what happened. Did I miss something? Was I working all these years? Is it a generational thing? But it really is not, because it's just so much outward display of vanity about the body. Or now they've gotten very creative with it, so they put stories and everything in it as if to show some form of, I don't know, some intellectual connection to, like I saw, what was the Atlas? One person that had surgery, it wasn't funny, but the scalpel went right through his Atlas, and I was like, well, that looked like Yeshua, and of course they were like, who? And I said, that looked like Jesus. But they said, no, that's Atlas, and he's got a whole story behind this. So anyway, I just want to add that in there, that whatever the intent or the emotion is for that person, whether it's in a narcissistic way or whatever, it is about what that person is feeling. And sometimes it can supersede any particular timelines. It's what, you know what I mean? They can grab something from the past that means something else and use it today and make it a new meaning, and then get a whole clan of people to agree that it means that today, So anyway, just throwing it in there, there's that vanity is both praise of oneself, and it's very empty. It's an emptiness that you're trying to fill some kind of way, and it could be with the attention of somebody onto you, if you did something with your body, or whatever. I mean, like I know this is, and I'm going to yield after I say this, but I personally almost 28 years ago seen these glasses, and I wanted the glasses because I felt like it represented me, and I was not even anywhere near more science, anywhere near Compass and Square, anywhere near the teachings. I just recognized that I like that asymmetric look because it represents me. It represents a strong me and a soft me, and so people would see my glasses and think that, oh, these are statements. Well, sometimes they do make statements, and sometimes people would say, oh, she's just being vain because she's doing something unusual. So anyway, with that, I yield.
Yes, now. I thank you for that, sister. Brother Bay.
It's not Miles. Hey, early, like when we were defining vanity, the brother chairman was using words. He said, define like ego and pride. Islam, am I correct, Smith Bay?
Yes, now.
And I went to the chapter Holy Instructions from the Prophet Gratitude, and in the end of verse 6, it says, the vanity of pride shall expose thee to shame. The greediness of avarice should never be satisfied. Islam?
Yes, now. Very good.
Islam.
All right, now.
Give me some. Come here, give me some. Don't stand
Islam.
there.
Let us look at now. Let us look at
What?
verse 2
Take your
and
time.
verse 3.
What you say?
No, let us look at verse 2, verse 3, and verse 4. Who want to take verse 2? Oh. You want to take it, brother chairman?
Mm-hmm.
Or you want to take one after me?
I can take this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna try my best. Weep not therefore at the calamities of the human state, rather laugh at its follies. In the hands of the man addicted to vanity, life then is but a shadow of a dream. Sometimes we waste our time whining and complaining over things that really is not. We talked about that in the chapter before. The pinnacle of wisdom. You know, like if things happen in our life, we say, "Oh man, why me?" You know, and complain about stuff in regards to that. So it's like we wasting our time dealing with that, you know, over foolish things instead of trying to change that condition or to get out of that position. So we want to blame somebody else. But if we addicted to our certain physical, you know, our physical possessions is finite. It's not going to last forever. They come and go. You know what I mean? And we should be looking at stuff that's infinite. You know, and working on our spiritual self, not things that are entirely don't have no meaning or they 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 are useful in this life to a certain point. But sometimes we use those that we like somebody with vehicle. They worry about their vehicle more than they worry about anything else. They gotta keep it washed, keep it shining, and keep you know and cleaning everything. Uh, uh, or certain possessions they had, material things. Um, so they just a shadow of a dream because they come and go. They come and go. But whereas we should focus more on life itself and understanding life and working on our spiritual nature or our higher self more than anything. With that, when it says that, you know, the calamities of the human state, rather laugh at the follies in the hand of a man addicted to vanity. Life then is but a shadow of a dream, you know, or wishing for something like, you know, you wishing and hoping for something, you know, like those that play, that gamble, go to casinos or play the lottery or these new things that they got now on your phone. You could do the slot machines and trying to get money and everything, and they're just draining your account. And you know, you're wasting your time on it instead of, you know, looking at more things and more prosperous. You're wasting your time on hopeless dreams, hoping you'd be a millionaire and all this old stuff. You know, instead of working on other things. Got a yield the floor. And then Robert Craig got his hand raised.
Islam. Islam, brother Bay. Brother Robert Bay.
Islam Muslims,
I
I'm
thought you had
listening
your
to
hand
the
up.
brother and I agree with him. But as I'm listening and I'm reading, I have to mention that this particular word, we got to put this like and everything else in its proper context. And I'm sticking like with my first definition with coming even with it saying that in the hands of a man that's addicted to vanity. You know, life then but is the shadow of a dream. So what is it that man is addicted to that will cause his life to be a shadow of a dream? You know, and it's a particular mindset that we're always or he's always in that takes him out of reality of his present conditions, focusing on what somebody else's perception may be, and based on that dictates how he will move in this world. And because I done suffered from it, I didn't know nothing about it until I came to the proper lessons that a lot of things that I done in life were out of vanity, you know, and I was really addicted to this particular life. And as a result, it was a shadow of a dream because at the end of it, nothing came out of it of substance, you know, that will help me move forward, that will be beneficial or conducive to my growth and development. Nothing, because I was addicted to vanity, a particular state of mind that I was stuck in, always trying, because I was so only concerned about what little Vito doing, what little Vic doing. Oh, they gonna hear this and that. And at the end of it, it was always my destruction. Islam,
Islam. Now, class. Now, let's see if we can put our thinking caps on.
oh man, I don't even know
It
how you.
says, in verse 2. Weep not, therefore, at the calamities of the human state. Rather, laugh at its follies. In the hands of the man addicted to vanity, life then is but the shadow of a dream. Okay, now y'all covered that very well because y'all looked over that term and definition vanity. But what about the first half where it says, weep not, therefore, at the calamities of the human state? What are some of the calamities of the human state that we all have experienced in our life and growing up? What are the calamities?
Being poor.
Okay, being poor, loss or damage of something that we held very true to us, or something,
Islam.
or a loss of destruction. You know, Islam. I said, brother Earl, Lane Junior L. Islam, or my brother,
Islam.
Islam.
Being
Or.
being uh, being rejected. You might have went for a job and you thought you was going to get it,
Islam. Good one.
and you
I like
find
that.
out that you didn't get it.
That's right.
Mm.
I like that.
I don't really like that
I
one.
like that,
I
Noble.
don't really like that one though.
I
I
like
don't
that,
Why
really
not?
Noble,
like that
because
Why not?
rejection is the
one.
world experience rejection. I like that.
Uh, because the way I see this particular definition, calamities of the human state. Again, I'm looking at events or something that brings about, damage. Like, for example,
Rejection does that,
a
Mo.
fire in your house. When I look at this word, now I'm looking at verse 2. I ain't saying, going for a job interview, you're getting rejected for, you know, I ain't saying it like that. I'm saying it says in verse 2, weep not, therefore, at the calamities of the human state.
Put it in its proper context.
Yeah. Rather laugh at its follies. Because when we look at the calamities of the human state, you can easily recover from not getting one job. You just go to the
It,
next door. Keep, you know what I mean?
it's Islam. I,
Yes, sir.
I wanted to work at one place. I just say the name. I wanted to work at Alex Brown. I tried 5 times to get a job there. Okay, before they lost the name and got bought out by Bankers Trust, I actually got a job working there. Okay, it took me 5 times, and when I went to go get the job, they said they should have hired me all along. So I got rejected. I didn't give up. I just kept trying. But
Islam.
it took me almost 10 years to get in that place.
Islam.
Islam.
It's fine.
Islam.
Ikola Kasar. I just, sometimes one can think they know the definition. Like like me, I think I know the definition because I've heard the word, been around long enough to use the word, but as we are describing things and knowing that words had different meanings at different time periods, uh, it really was the definition of calamity itself. Because for me, a calamity is like an external disaster or something like that. But I wanted to check and see if it was applicable as is being used, and actually it is. But from the early 1800s, 1828, calamity meant any misfortune or cause of misery, which widespread, especially widespread disasters that bring extensive suffering like plagues, war, or famine, but also deep personal distress. So the calamity of the human state would describe the overall miserable, falling condition of humanity, full of pain, frailty, and inevitable suffering.
Islam.
I wanted to give that as a little glimpse for
Islam.
myself, but also I wanted to share that it could be
Islam.
applicable to
Islam.
both Islam.
Islam. And that's not to take away from anything, because again, that is what caught my attention. The calamities, the calamities of the human state. That is what caught my attention. And at the end of it, it makes that comparison. It says, in the hands of the man addicted to vanity, life then is but the shadow of a dream. So it comes around full circle in dealing with explaining what life is to the brother or sister who is addicted with vanity. Just like verse 3 and verse 4 that we're getting ready to go into. I see a hand up.
Islam, Mo.
Yes, sir.
As we continue on, I want to jump back to verse 1 for us to be ever mindful. Oh, the sister speaking?
No, I think that's your no. What it
Okay,
is
Islam.
is my class. I got everybody, what I mean,
All right, I want to go back to
with
verse
open
1.
mic or something like that.
As it say, and constancy is powerful in the heart of man. And through that whole verse, the main subject in there is the heart of man. We got to keep that in perspective, the center focus of what we're dealing with, the heart of man, because within the heart of man, certain things are taking place. So we got to be, well, what is the heart of man that all this stuff is going on? You see what I'm saying? So we have many who associate that the heart of man will be mind. Some say so, but they say the heart or the mind. So all these things are taking place in this particular area, which have a profound effect based on the actions. So what it say? Whatever in the heart of the man, what's in your heart should reflect in your actions. You understand? So whatever my state of mind is, it's going to show. And I say that because what the brother was saying, as far as rejection as being a calamity, and then the sister gave a very beautiful definition of calamity, in our records, it's a reflection in the business of man, a sense of his state is his first duty. So we got to be mindful of what is my state? What is my state of mind? Or what things have I done to affect my present state right now? And in today's world with mental illness, especially being highly aware of it, certain things that may affect our mind, which we discussed last week, that how mental illness may affect the soul of man. So therefore, that everybody don't accept rejection. And I'm going back to support the brother Earl and Ain when he said that is a calamity, because rejection is something that many of our human people have experienced, whether in the workforce, whether with a loved one, whether for anything. And you have individuals that have killed over rejection. You have individuals that have taken their own lives based on rejection. And that truly is a calamity to humanity. Where so it is this thing that everyone can't handle it the same way. Islam?
Islam. Islam. Very, very good, Mo. Again,
Mhm.
I was looking at the context of the calamities of the word calamities of the human state. But now you said, going back to verse 1, inconstancy is powerful in the heart of man. Okay. And when we first came out, we jumped into inconstancy, intemperance, despair, fear, and vanity. Where's these found at?
In the heart of man, according to the record.
It's in the heart of man. But what is another name for the heart of man?
Mo, I just went through that, Mo.
Islam.
Huh? You just what?
Was that for the
Islam.
class? Is that for me? Because I just gave my explanation on it, Mo.
Oh, I didn't know that you gave your explanation on that one, Mo. I, well, that's for the class then. I
Okay.
thought you had a big question mark
I
behind.
ain't no big question mark,
I
Mo.
thought you had a
I
big
gave my
question
opinion.
mark. I thought. Wait a minute.
I
I
spoke
thought.
my
Wait a
truth.
minute. Whoa, slow
I
down,
spoke
slow
my
down, Mo.
truth.
I thought you had a big question mark behind.
No, sir.
Where is the heart of man?
No, sir. I
Okay,
apologize.
okay. Then I stand corrected because
I apologize.
our next two verses won't clarify a whole lot for us.
Islam.
Islam. Any other hands before I go on?
Islam. Just very quickly.
Yes.
Nicola Kasariel, as you're as everyone is speaking, I'm being reminded that the current conditions of our environment is it plays a part in how we as social beings can be feeling accepted or not accepted. And so, whereas if the ego, which you know, its little self wasn't made mention of, the ego plays a part in. Some say the ego came with the mind as a form of protection for the mind, but sometimes the ego just wants them up. You were mentioning, letting self doubt or despair or something seep in, and next thing they're having a party in your head, and I think that that has a lot to do with the ego not being disciplined, self
Islam.
disciplined, and how it becomes disciplined is applying not just our teachings. I'm coming from two parts. Applying the teachings where you don't have to feel that you're always being attacked, that you don't have to feel that you're in a state of despair, a poor me. Um, Part of self-discipline is being in joy, meaning inner joy, inner peace. Islam.
Islam,
Islam.
sister. Well
Any other
spoken, sister.
hands up? No hands up? Yeah, again, sister, like we first started off, and it's been always important to remember the beginning. It states that the name of the chapter is The Instability of Man. And then it comes in with inconstancy, intemperance, despair, fear, vanity. All these is found within the workshop of our mind. Anybody see that?
I hear you, Mo.
All
Islam.
this is found within the workshop of
Absolutely.
the mind. Remember,
I hear
Absolutely.
you, Mo.
this is the beginning of the first 5 chapters dealing with what class?
Dealing with
We,
man. Universal trifolds of man.
the universal folds. These are universal. They not confined to Jew or Greek. They are the inheritance of every man, of every time, and every clime.
Comes with the flesh.
It comes with the flesh and is formed with that brain.
You working, Mo.
Now
I hear you
look
working,
at
Mo.
this one.
I hear you working.
Oh, okay. I'm waiting on my grand sheik to call me. I'm gonna have to go in a minute, brother chairman. But look at what is telling us about a variety of things that affect us. It says in verse 3, the hero, the most renowned of human character. What is he? But the bubble of this weakness. What weakness is we talking about?
Character.
Ego.
Class. What weakness is we talking about? The hero, the most renowned of human character. What is he but the bubble of this weakness?
The lower self.
Okay, the Lord self, but what part of that Lord self?
He's looking at his fame, his
Ego.
recognition.
It's the ego.
We're going back to
What's
vanity.
the name of the chapter? Ooh, man, I'm itching like crazy. Ooh. Oh, man, I'm itching like crazy. He's looking at what? The
Instability.
hero, the most renowned of human character. You know,
Instability.
now, you know how we raise up heroes, right? You know how we raise up heroes. I mean, how did we feel when we shake a hero hand or we walking with one? We're in the company of a hero. It says the most renowned of human character. What is he but the bubble of this weakness? And what is the weakness? The instability of man. The public is unstable and ungrateful.
Islam.
Because as soon as he do something wrong or contrary to the vision or the applause of the public, he's no longer the hero. They look, we begin to look down on our heroes in a negative way. And why? Because of that lower self. Those five folds that is found within each and every one of us. It says that the public, that's us, is unstable and ungrateful. We change as the ethers change. Why should the man of wisdom endanger himself for fools? Who is the man of wisdom? Is the Moorish American Muslim a man of wisdom?
The one who doubteth often and change his mind. The one who doubteth often and change his mind.
Yeah, okay. Ooh, man. Ooh. I start scratching myself, man. My arms is breaking out. Woo, wow. Yeah. One who doubted often and changed his mind. One
What
who
doesn't
used firmness of mind. One who is constant. One who, say that again. Yeah. We got the steps. We have the steps.
One who has knowledge and the capacity to make use of it.
Say that again.
One who has knowledge and make the capacity has the capacity to make use of it.
Yeah. All right, so why should the man of wisdom endanger himself for fools? What is a good example of that? It says the public is unstable and ungrateful. Why should the man of wisdom endanger himself for fools? You walking along, or you riding along, or you traveling along, you see the public out there with signs protesting something. What is something that is being protested that you would join in?
Get Trump out of office.
Say that again.
Get Trump out of office.
Get Trump out of office. Okay, let's look at that because I voted for him.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, hey, that is what my family had me in a circle. And they said, no, please don't vote for him. Why are you voting for him? And I gave them a long, drawn out explanation. Not only the fact that I'm a Republican. Brother Chairman, Brother Chairman,
Go ahead.
go and take over as the national grand chief.
Okay.
Islam.
You
Yes,
gotta
sir.
go.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
go to the meeting on football. She's going to run right now.
Okay.
All right,
Who
so
was speaking? I think Robert Bay or somebody was speaking. Ed, you were
No,
speaking.
No, I just said something based off his little question. It wasn't really
About
it-
Trump and
yeah, no, it was just, I just threw it out there, Mo, just to mess with the Mo.
oh, what was the question? Because I had to step away. I had to take my medicine real quick. I haven't took it yet, but go ahead.
Um
You were
he
talking about
had
the
asked,
hero.
he had made the state asked the question, if there was a protest, what would one be that you would join? If somebody they were protesting, which one would you participate in or join in? And
Mm,
I had responded by saying getting Trump out of office. He said if there were people standing on the side of the streets with signs protesting, which which would you join into? And I said if it was people on the street saying get Trump out of office, I would join that. But it wasn't really more so in essence to the lessons that it made me say that statement though. I guess he was answering his question in that manner.
Islam, he was stating, if I may, he was
Islam.
stating how the public is ungrateful. You know, he was finishing that part and I guess he was going to expound on, as an example, you can see how people will get in public and protest and support one thing 1 minute and then another minute. I don't know where he was going with it, but it's part of you know, the public is ungrateful. They're inconstant themselves, with what they want. 1 minute they want someone in the office, and 1 minute they don't want this person in the office because they have shown themselves to be, not of the best character, not of the best moral standing.
Islam.
Perhaps that's where he was going with it. Islam.
Islam.
Give me one moment. Give me one moment. Verse 4. It says, the man who neglected his present concerns to resolve how he will behave when greater feedeth himself with wind, while his another. Who can explain that particular verse? Go ahead, Roberts Bay.
Islam, that expression, I would associate this with Mo. Islam.
I'm listening.
No, I'm just saying I associate it with daydreaming. You know, a person sit around daydreaming about, yeah, I mean, when I get this money, I'm gonna do this and that, or if I get this and that, you know, that's all you doing is up in your head about what you would do, but you're not putting forth no action or motion towards the particular goal in which you want. You're just still up in
Okay.
your head.
Let's talk about us. What
Okay,
about what about us as Moorish Americans? We always saying, well, the temple's not doing this. We ain't got no members. We not doing that. But yet, some of us, you know, across the Moorish diaspora might say, well, I'm the grand sheik. I'm so and so, so and so. I'm so and so, so and so. Got this office. I got this title. I got that title. Or not even in more science. Just people in general. You like on a job or different fraternities or different organizations. They say I'm this, I'm that. I got this, I got that. But are you working with your current? Are you taking care of your current responsibilities for that particular position that you're in? Are you making sure that you're following, the principles and everything and your obligations for that current position? Or are you just bragging about it and you're not building on nothing? You're just speeding on wind. This is like a puff of air, like a blow, just like that. Like it's nothing. It's nothing being. You're not working in harmony with your title position. You're just saying that, oh well, I'm the chairman of Grand Temple 13. Oh no, I'm the assistant national chairman, of the United of Moorish Science Temple America, and I'm this and I'm that. But am I working that position? Am I filling my obligations in those positions? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm an adept. I'm a sheik. I'm a sheikesses. What I mean? I'm an ordained minister. Am I fulfilling the obligations of that, or I'm just talking smoke?
Islam. Mo, in this verse, in verse 4, right? The
Mm-hmm.
operative word that we should focus on will be neglection.
Yeah,
To
neglect.
deal with this
You
verse
neglect your
here,
responsibility, right?
and especially in defining in its full capacity, because when you neglect something, you forego it. You let it go. I mean, it's no more or whatever, this and that, and same way as mores or whatever, to where as though, as you say, we neglect our responsibilities. Whether coming to a meeting, you know, um, dealing with our household properly, or just our physical body, or more importantly, our state of mind, you know. But nevertheless, I'm still thinking about what I would do next when I haven't taken care of right now. Islam. So focus on the word
Islam.
neglection.
Very good point. Very good point.
Islam, very, very good, very good, very good point. Neglect, yeah, yeah. Islam, brother Chairman.
Islam, sir.
So y'all was on verse 4.
Yeah, we was talking about that. Roberts Bay and I just commented on it. I was waiting for if any other any other of our classmates would want to elaborate on that particular verse.
We got a whole lot of them on here that would elaborate on that verse. We all have experienced that and coming into the world growing up. Islam. I see a hand up. Uh-oh. I see a hand up. Y'all still there?
Hey, Roberts Bay, your hand up, Roberts Bay.
You on mute.
No, I apologize. My last spoke. I had left it up.
Yeah, Islam. Praise Allah. Um, and brother Chair, man, I concur with you wholeheartedly, because You made a couple of very interesting points because a lot of times one will say, I'll do better next time. You know, one of my good brothers, man, passed. He had the saying, he used to always say, more we got to do better. You know, more we got to do better. You know, and verse 4 says, the man who neglected his present concerns to revolve how he will behave when greater, feeding himself with wind, while bread is eaten by another. I remember, and we're still a small temple when we look at what we're trying to do. When we look at not holding brothers and sisters back from seeking various titles or positions and stuff like that, because that is what was done to us when we came into this movement. It was like you had to get past this strong wall before you can be entitled to even the name of faithful. When our prophet spells it out in Acts 7 and various other acts, how to become faithful or how to become a member and so forth and so on. But you had brothers and sisters who would look at someone else in a position and say, hey, I can do better than that. But then upon investigation, once they got into them positions, they were doing the same things that they was accusing the other brothers and sisters of not doing. So we have a warning coming in verse 5. We have a warning, we have advice, and there's another word I'm looking for. One of y'all be able to help me out with it in a minute. It says in verse 4, the man who neglected his present concerns to revolve how he will behave when greater, feeding himself with wind, while his bread is eaten by another. So that's telling me that if I'm boasting, saying I can do better than someone else, I want to say it don't apply. I want to say that it's wrong for one to say that. But it's just not a wide brush. It just do not apply to everyone. Because some people can do a better job than others. But don't want to step up and say, hey, I can do a better job. And just like on the opposite flip of the coin, you got some who look and say, oh man, I can do a better job. But when they get in, they can't do a better job. So again, we got to look at ourselves and count our blessings. Islam Sheikas, yes, there
It's
you
fine.
go.
Um, you mentioned wanting to speak up and say they can do a better job but won't do it. What are the reasons that you think a more would not step up, especially when they see the conditions can be better or there's an opportunity? What would you say is seen? What fear? What causes that fear in them to
Woo!
not speak up? Islam.
Woo! You hit it right on the nose. But I would go to anyone out of verse 1 would fit. Fear, despair, inconstancy, intemperance, even vanity. Vanity in a sense where you don't want to feel bad. And anyone of those would hold a person back if they allow it. If they do not allow, for example, I only know you from like a ten yardstick, but I know that you have a certain amount of determination. You know, you have shown me that you have a certain amount of determination that you inherit from people around you. All right, now, one brother or sister might come into the temple. They may be qualified, but they may shortchange themselves by saying, I ain't been here long enough. I'm not liked well enough. I'm scared I might not do a good job.
Sound like vanity to me.
Vanity, despair, fear, inconstancy, or intemperance. They might have a buddy in there. Might say, oh, man, don't even take that position, man. No. They know their qualifications, but a buddy might swing them to the left. I said, no, don't do that, you know. Islam Sheikahs.
Yes, brothers, as we're having the discussion, I'm reminded of the timeline of Prophet Noble Ali and his selection of who would be his successor, uh, Edward Miliel, and how um, there were those that felt that he was less than qualified, and even I believe it was stated that the prophet said to hold him up and lift him up. So I think even
Well, sister, I'm gonna say that on that in there. Uh, because he was the prophet's choice. And during that first annual convention, the prophet told his grand body and his newly appointed Supreme Grand Council that all those that I have breathed on is going to show me the true self of who you are and not who you think or you want me to be. You want to show me who you are. You ain't going to be able to hide from me no more. Now, at one of the meetings at Temple number 1, after he had made his selection, he told the Moors, he said, all right, brother Emil, I know he's weak. Get behind him. Hold him up. You know, that's how that went. A couple of times he made that statement. You know, but he was the prophet's choice. He never had no one else in mind because he said on numerous times that he wanted Brother Emil to feed his sheep.
Islam,
You know,
so therein
it,
lies
it's not.
point. that
But
the,
it proved all true. You know about what our holy divine prophet laid out there for us. You know. Uh, I was about to say something else. It was something else. Oh, and so the warning comes into us in Acts in verse 5. It says, "Act as become thee in their present station, and in more exalted ones, thy faith shall not be ashamed." And when you look at the context, a lot of this is referring to vanity. Even though it got a touch of inconstancy here, a touch of temperance here, a touch of despair here, But in verse 1, it tells us that vanity is beyond them all. And so it's centered in on vanity. You're going to find vanity, say like on the first, on the first 10. Woo, wow. Whoa. Well, we might not be on this chapter. We might not be on this chapter next Sunday. But a good assignment for us would be to go through this chapter and look at how many verses deal specifically with vanity. You understand what I'm saying, brother Robert Bay?
You know I'm listening to you, bro.
I mean, my eye just blinked on it. You know, I'm like,
Okay, yeah.
I'm just looking at it, and I'm getting ready to say, well, maybe one through 8 or something like that. But man, when I turned the page, it's almost like all these verses. Wow, man. Woo. It's almost like I can say, all right, that holy and divine prophet named this chapter Instability of Man. He tells us that vanity is beyond them all.
I'm looking at verse 14 right now, Mo.
I'm saying, but why could not be the whole big heart of vanity? Because he covered a lot of ground with vanity. Boy, I tell you. Well, you know, the one is, you know, he don't want vanity to take over us. Don't want despair to take over us. Don't want fear to take over us. Don't want inconstancy to take over us. Because he's building in us a certain moral character. He's uplifting us to be able to take our place in the affairs of men and women and uplifting the nation and not be afraid. It's wrong, brother Tim, because I'm getting ready to turn the meeting in your hands anyway. I
always reminded that you spoke of Moorish character. You know what I mean? We should always display our Moorish character. We should be about our Moorish character because everybody's watching, especially when you get to verse 6. Everybody's watching. And so, in other words, we should be at all times the message that we bring, the message that we state we are, in regards to that, not be somebody that's up high on a pedestal that we don't see our own flaws and our own mistakes that we do, that we are like, we already perfected, which we're not, it's basically, it's like with this vanity, dealing with the pride, the ego, and different other things involved, with our character, our human character, we got to be the message that we bring. You know what I mean? If we say we're Moorish American Muslims, then be a Moorish American Muslim. Work on that to try to be that every day as much as you can. In your homes, even that divine proclamation. You know what I mean? It's still, in your homes, at work, in your homes, or on the street. You know what I mean? We got to carry ourselves a certain way. And if you carry yourself a certain way and you got that certain aura about you, you know what I mean? People are going to notice a change. People are going to notice a change in you and will see that you been transformed because they watch you. They watch you. That I yield. Wait, instructor.
It's mine, brother. Very, very good, Moore. And that's a wonderful point. Because the more that we focus on who we really are, who we're striving to be, the more we're going to demonstrate our character. It's just like I was looking at something where the brother was speaking about the fez or the turban. Anytime a brother or sister puts their fez or their turban on, it's supposed to be able to emphasize and project a certain character because they're being reminded of who they are or who they're striving to become. But anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you for a very good meeting. You know, it took my mind off of what I got to do and what I'm going through. And then I was sitting at my National Grand Sheik, and I hit him with a couple of requests. And lo and behold, he brought them over there. I'm anxious to look at what it is. Is it what I really asked for? Because again, look at that chapter. It says, act as become in that present state. And the more exalted ones that faith shall not be ashamed. I asked for something that I wasn't sure was at the home office. And I said, well, brother, you know what I mean, bring that over to me, you know what I mean, it was there. And I got a bag I had to struggle to get up the steps. So anyway, with that, I turn the hands to the meeting of our beloved chairman. Unless there are any questions, the chairman and I or anyone else can answer, feel free.
Brother Roberts Bay got to raise his hand.
I thought that hand was broke. I thought that hand couldn't go down. Islam.
I know I'm gonna call on Friday. I know that my first speaker Friday gonna be
Islam, Miles. Before we close out, I'd like to thank everybody for their participation, and I also feel it was a beautiful meeting, especially Sister Pacola Bay. Oh, I love your mind in the manner of how you put the prophet lessons in perspective. You know, thank you. But before we close out, I'd like to make a declaration, Muslims, where I, Victor Roberts Bay, declare that there's another foe that's not rarely spoke about. And that foe is forgetfulness. Islam? Think about that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that because you said a declaration.
Yeah,
you said a declaration.
There's another foe to man, and it's called forgetfulness.
Yeah, but I'm gonna ask my esteemed seekers.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna ask my esteemed seekers.
But you ain't gotta pick on her.
No, I'm curious. I'm curious and I'm happy.
Okay.
Seekers gray hair.
Islam.
In one short breath. Declaration.
Yeah, I declare.
Now, how would that be in a context?
Islam, what is your question?
I don't know. I'm getting a little red flag up in front of my little eye right now. Forgetfulness. Forgetfulness. And the reason why, because it is a verse in our Holy Quran that speaks about forgetfulness.
Islam.
You know, I don't know, sister. I'm going. I'm going to ask you a question. The question was declaration. My esteemed brother said he's going to make a declaration. There's another foe
that's not rarely spoken
that
about.
rarely is spoken about.
That's readily not spoken about.
Regularly not spoken about. because he definitely in that Holy Quran. um, and it's called forgetfulness. And I was looking at the term declaration. For some reason, it was like off a little bit. It might not have been, but to my ear and my eye, it was like off. And so I called upon you because I ain't had no dictionary ready and stuff like that, to
To,
put it in its
to
context.
proclaim, to declare, to make known.
It's that would be correct to make clear or evident.
Okay. All right. Huh. I wonder
Uh,
how many times forgetfulness is mentioned in that Holy Quran of the Moore Science Temple of Mount.
That's
Hey,
sounds like we have homework.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we have
homework.
homework.
But if you're looking at it, just think about this in context. All throughout the Moorish Holy Quran, the Holy Quran of Mecca, Allah always yells, remember me, or forget me not. All through the Quran, you always, somewhere you come along where Allah always saying, remember me,
Yeah,
forget me not.
yeah,
In your time of trouble, remember me.
yeah, but always before the time of trouble.
Always remember Allah, don't forget me
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
Food for thought, Muslims.
Say that again.
Food for
Yeah,
thought,
no,
Muslims.
no, good food, more. I love the participation. I love it. So with that, I turn the hands and brother Earl Lane Jr. L. Good to see you, more. Good to see you, my brother. Feel like I've been missing for a minute, man. I'm still waiting on that fruit juice. I can't get that watermelon. Man, I had some watermelon last week. It was so sour. It didn't taste sweet. And I thought about brother Lane Jr. L, man, he's sitting up there with a whole watermelon, more. I mean, he's enjoying himself. Don't show me no watermelon. He better not show me no watermelon. Ah, boy, I tell you. Mm-mm-mm. Uh. See, Sister Macola, see how my family treat me, and you wonder why I hide and stuff. That's why I'll turn the meeting back. Thank you, brother Lane Jr. Thank you, class. I really appreciate you, each and every one of you. On turn the meeting back to the hands of our beloved chairman and shut my mouth. Peace and love, Morris.
Islam, we stopped at verse 5, so we can continue with verse 6 and go on through as much as we can because we got to meet up for our Wednesday study class. And remember, those that's in town this Friday, we'll be meeting at Roland Park at 7:30. Be prepared because you may be called on as last time. Whether you are a ordained minister, sheik or sheikess, or just a member, be prepared. You may be called on to speak on this particular chapter. And I do, as always, I enjoyed the dialogue, the feedback, in regarding these 5 verses and everybody's participation and everything. This is how it should be, and we can all learn from one another. With that, I will proceed to close. As usual, I'll read the proclamation. Brother Edison L., you do the prophet's closing prayer, please. Oh, boy. Salvation, Allah, unity. More Science Temple of America, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder. Divine Proclamation, January 1929. Papa warned all Muslim governors order to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the street. We are for peace, not destruction. Stop flashing the cards that you're paying that causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace. When these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member, any group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet, or who violates divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors willing must obey the law laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their cotton button, cease wearing their turban affairs, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet's not right, the temple's not right. The prophet therefore sent a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is the everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sin. By order, Noble Jew Ali.
Islam, the prophet's closing prayer. Allah bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers' divine creed and principles. This we ask in their holy name, in the seventh Elohim. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Sister Jasmine, Sister J, great ill. I'm glad you back. You know, to see you back in action on the conference call. Missed you, sis.
It's long.
Islam. How your son doing?